You're listening to Stu's Wrestling Podcast on Northeast Streaming Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Stu's Wrestling Podcast. Time travel. This could be any time. Civilization might have fallen apart, but wrestling will still exist. And if you found this here, then you are in on the thing that you need to be on at any given moment. Give it a listen, make a new friend, find a new experience. But when wrestling's involved, Stu is involved. And you don't even have to be in the UK because we're global, baby. Stu's Wrestling Podcast. Listen to it on any place you listen podcasts. Stitcher, iTunes, maybe something that hasn't been invented yet. I don't know. Again, time travel.
You're listening to Stu's Wrestling Podcast. It's time for British Wrestling's sharpshooter, your host, Stu Harmer.
I look into the mirror and all I see is failure staring back at me.
My guest today on Stu's Wrestling Podcast is none other than the former MLW Middleweight champion, Myron Reed. Myron talks about first watching wrestling with his grandma and idolising Jeff Hardy. He had plenty of stories about backyarding many years ago before he formally started training. Myron is getting booked extensively across America, but you can see him every week on MLW. MLW's been back for a couple of months now, and it's great to see him and the other members of Injustice tearing it up with Contra Unit. So, without further ado, my guest for episode 75 of Stu's Wrestling Podcast is Injustice member, former MLW Middleweight champion, Myron Reed. Enjoy. My guest, all the way from Louisville, Kentucky, in the good old US of A, it is Injustice member Myron Reed and the former MLW middleweight champion. I've got to get that in as well. Got to get that in.
And make sure you put the two-time MLW champion.
I hope so.
Middleweight champion.
Absolutely,
man.
I hope so. I loved your reign. I know, obviously, there was a long time now with MLW where it wasn't on because of the pandemic. So I know it would have seemed a lot more of you in MLW. I know you're obviously cropping up in other promotions. So how has it been being like back in with MLW and shooting and doing the matches and stuff? How's that been?
Oh man, it was a relief, man. The whole lockdown and stuff, it was just a time where everyone was just kind of panicking, just not wrestling for months. Especially after just having shows almost every weekend, for going from shows every weekend to like barely wrestling ever. So like it was a big adjustment, but it was that I took that time to try and better myself, and whether it's in the gym, working on promos, watching matches, like just trying to be a better wrestler during that time out.
Was it hard? Was it hard not being at shows, not just with MLW? I know you're on the independents as well. Was it hard for you?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because I've heard from some guys, Myron, it's like I just focused on myself in the gym and stuff like that. Some people have coped with it better than others, I think, from a wrestling standpoint, from what I've heard.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's real easy to get sucked into the whole, just kind of get depressed about it. And, I'm just going to stay at home. I don't want to do nothing. Because, hey, like the first couple of weeks, I was like that myself. And then I was like, you know what? I got to get up. I got to do something, because once this stuff returns, I don't want to come back and be missing a beat. And everyone else is, especially the people that have been working. I don't want nobody to pass me up. I'm a hard worker, and I want to show that,
I want to go right back. When did you first experience pro wrestling when you were younger? When were you first subjected to it?
I remember coming into wrestling around the time when they had SmackDown was big, and I remember like The Rock and Triple H feuding, and my great grandmother was like a huge Rock fan, so she treated it like it was like every time she watched wrestling, it was like she was cheering for the Super Bowl, or the NBA Finals or something. And I really like enjoyed that. And I seen how much she was passionate about it. And it made me that passionate about it, especially being younger, 2-3 years old. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. And watching them, and it just, everything was so real. And these guys were just like larger than life. And I was like, you know what, one day I want to be larger than life. I want I want a kid that's 2 or 3 to watch me and one day become a pro wrestler because he's seen me, and that's what made him love it or fall in love with wrestling. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Which other guys did you like in the early days? Who stood out for you? Which guys jumped out the screen?
When I was younger, it was definitely The Rock, but like that was like 2, 3, maybe 4 years old. Once I like got old enough to really like understand it a little more, I was freaking huge on Jeff Hardy, Rey Mysterio. Like Rey Mysterio and Jeff Hardy were like my 2 favorite when I was like 8, 9 years old. Like I had all the Rey Mysterio mask, all the action figures. I would cut up like long socks and wear them on my arm. All my parents used to hate it. Like quit tearing up socks, man. Like we were buying these socks and you're tearing up these long church socks and stuff and cutting them up and doing this in the living room and
But I'd tell you what, just to single out Jeff Hardy, he stood the test of time as well. Look how long he's been around, man. It's incredible. Damn. It's incredible what he's achieved.
He was definitely ahead of his time. Definitely ahead of his time.
Yeah, him and Matt and Lita as a free was just incredible. They were the amount of merch they were selling, where they were outselling the other guys. It was incredible.
That's the thing, man. That's the thing in wrestling. Like you just got to be ahead of the curve. You got to be doing something that's different, and you got to be confident in what you're doing. Like a lot of people want to follow trends, but you got to like step outside the box and be you, and that's what really sets people apart. You know.
How about like I think progressing off that matches that stuck out to you during that time? Is there any particular matches?
I really enjoyed when I was younger. I really enjoyed the match with Jeff Hardy and Undertaker, the undisputed title match. Definitely Jeff Hardy and Undertaker. I really enjoyed Shawn Michaels and John Cena at WrestleMania. I like the Rey Mysterio and Chavo Guerrero I Quit match. That match I was super, super, super invested in when I was younger. And I enjoyed, I believe it was Undertaker and The Rock and No Mercy. I think that was definitely another one. But also when I was coming up, I really liked, once CM Punk got on the scene, like they really like showed like he was like really big on Ring of Honor and stuff like that. So I went back and I really enjoyed the match with him and AJ Styles. I think from like 2004, the first Pure Wrestling Championship match. Super, super, super big on that match. But there's a lot more, man. There's a lot of matches that I really enjoyed. Yeah,
I'm the same. I'm the same, man. I can't. People ask me. Give me a top 3. You're limiting. You're limiting yourself because it's just ridiculous. I've been.
You think about all the Undertaker WrestleMania like street matches. Like you think about the Shawn Michaels matches and the Triple H match he had. Both of them. Like Jesus. Like I couldn't even like pinpoint.
I was there for the career versus the streak. I was in Phoenix for that. This is incredible. Back to you now. I'm gonna go into you personally. When did you begin training in wrestling? When did that come to be?
For me, I started in 2015. It was like the end of the year of 2015. I remember like I was backyard wrestling when I first started, and I remember like before I even started backyarding, there was like a whole lot of big backyarders like had huge influence like on like backyard wrestling and on YouTube. It was huge on YouTube, and I thought it was really cool the production part of it and how they like did everything. I was like, you know what? Not only do I want to like be a backyard wrestler or a professional wrestler, like I want to start my own company. I want to get my friends together. I want to record it. I want to edit it, all that stuff, write the script, everything. I did all. Like I remember when I like moved to Atlanta, Georgia, my junior year of high school, and we were still running backyard wrestling shows. And I remember like I would come home to Louisville like once a month. So we were like I would write script and we would film like a month or 2 months worth of like wrestling and just for YouTube because we would like try to put the episode out every week. And that stuff's still on my YouTube channel if you go back and watch. But once that happened, I seen the people that I was inspired by that was backyarding, and then I seen a couple of those guys go pro. And I was like, you know, this is always a dream, but like they did it, so I know for a fact I can do it. So that's when I started looking up wrestling schools. What's the cheapest route right now? And I went to this place called WWA, and this was in Central City, Kentucky. It's about 2 hours from my house. And I was driving there every like 2 to 3 times a month in training. But then I realized, I was learning the basics, and I realized that I wasn't getting enough ring time. It was only 2 to 3 times a month. So I went to OVW eventually. I mean, the people at WWA didn't like that. They were pretty upset about it because they wanted me to just be strictly there. But I went to OVW, trained with Rip Rogers for about 2-3 months. And it was like every weekend. So like it would, the ring time was completely different. And every time I would go back to WWA, I would like the progress would definitely show. So like after that, I just got linked up with guys like Michael Elgin, Sammy Callahan, Jake, Dave, Chris, all those guys, and IWA, all that stuff. And man, the rest was history from there.
How about crafting your move set when you were learning? How easy or how tough was that, putting together what you were going to do in the ring? I like asking you guys this.
When I first started, I was like a huge Seth Rollins, CM Punk fan. So like I was doing a lot of their moves when I first started. I'm not gonna lie about it. And then eventually, as time went on, man, like once I like start getting on these shows with people, like I would start realizing that everybody was doing the same moves. So I would like eventually like I think once that curve of me wanting to try and start doing my own stuff and not look like everyone else was once I got to MLW 2018 or in 2018, 2017, because I was starting to do moves and I was starting to see everybody was doing it. Like the Spanish Fly, everybody started fucking doing that move. So I stopped doing it. The springboard cutter, like I hit it from when I started. Like I was doing that move in the backyard. Like I was hitting it. I believe I seen Jimmy Jacobs do it, and then I seen Will Ospreay do it. Because when I was backyarding or just coming into pro wrestling, it was Ricochet and Will Ospreay were going freaking crazy. So I was watching their matches constantly, 24/7, fully, and I probably watched them 100 times and was just doing all their moves when I first started. But like once you get to a certain point in wrestling, you start to realize, like, look, if I got to separate myself from everybody else, I got to do different moves. I got to look different. I got to wrestle different. I got to be different. So now for me, it's just I'm doing moves, and if a lot of people start doing the move I'm doing, I'm like, all right, I got to change it up.
That's cool, man. Like, adapting as you were going along then and adjusting it. But I've seen you in matches in various matches. It's not just the high flying moves with you, is it? You got a good ground basis as well. I find when I watch you.
Yeah, for now, like I've been trying to like do less risky moves that's gonna like hurt my body. Sometimes it's worth it when the match is big enough. But yeah, just trying to make sure my moveset's well rounded to where I don't have to go to the air as much.
So Myron, from training to first match, how long was it when you first got in? I know obviously you'd backyarded, but like your first real match for a promotion.
From training, how the like time limit?
Getting training to the first match officially.
I started training in December 2015, and I was managing in January of 2016. And from there, like from managing, I got to see what it was like, feel the crowd, interact with the crowd, and get more and more comfortable. I wasn't comfortable enough, but I was comfortable enough to step in the ring. I felt like I think by March or April of 2016, I was wrestling. By March or April of 2016, I was wrestling.
Sweet, man. That's cool. So you looked at doing the management gig. Was that as a way in? Was that a way in for you to then wrestle? Is that the way you viewed that at the time?
Yeah. Definitely did. First, I was a little upset about it at first. I was like, I want to get in the damn ring. I feel like I'm ready. I mean, everybody thinks that, but eventually, it took some time. And once I stepped in the ring, I was actually glad that I got to manage and interact with the crowd because it helped me out tremendously.
That's cool. That's cool, man. The way it happened. Early matches. Then who were you coming up against? Were you against established guys, or were you against newer people to the business?
When I was against the guys like that was established in their area, not really huge indie established guys, but it was more so guys that are established that have been working in their area for a long time. More 40-miler guys. Some of the guys I was wrestling were traveling, but they weren't like super worldwide known. You know what I mean? So like that, I felt like that was definitely helpful because I got to slowly work myself up. And by the time I was a year or two in, I was working with established guys. Once I got to Rockstar Pro and IWA Mid-South, like those two companies really helped me tremendously with wrestling big name guys. Like I remember when I first started, I was like a year in and I got to wrestle Jonathan Gresham, and I had no business being in there with him, but I did good. I felt like I hung in there with them. I got to wrestle guys like AR Fox, Shane Strickland, Dave J. Chris, Sammy Callahan, Zach Dez, Trey Miguel, like all guys like that. Like those guys definitely made me better for sure.
That's one hell of a tapestry of guys, isn't it? Different, all different styles of the game there. I can just tell by all their names that you've just listed.
Absolutely, man.
I bet.
And it's just,
sorry.
Oh, my bad. Oh yeah, I was gonna just say like it's like you gotta like sacrifice and go after. Like I remember like moving from Louisville to Dayton, Ohio, not knowing what to do and like if this was the right move, but that's what made me who I am today, for sure.
How often were you on the road at that point? Was it were you on the road a lot with in the early times?
Once I moved to Dayton, Ohio, like I remember like I was making little to no money, but I knew for a fact that it was going to pay off. So I was taking like 16 to 20 bookings a month. Like I was home maybe 8 to 9 days a month. Like I was always on the road, like just trying to learn, trying to get better, traveling to shows. Even if I'm not on the show, showing my face. Hello, hi to the promoters. Hopefully he'll book me eventually. And that worked tremendously because I eventually started getting on these bigger shows by showing my face and showing up to these shows. I didn't just expect someone to hit me up and say, "Oh, I've seen your work," blah, blah, blah. No, that didn't work like that back then. So, had to show face, had to travel.
That's. I tell you what. Like what I take away from that is like the persistence, knowing that it was going to come to fruition for you.
Yeah, definitely. I just felt like if you get what you put in, and a lot of people feel like they're just owed a lot in wrestling, but that's not the case. Like you got to put in the work. If you want to be, if you say you want to be the greatest wrestler of all time, you got to do the greatest of all time type shit. Like you got to do stuff that people aren't willing to do. You got to do stuff that people are not doing. Like if people are sitting at home. So for example, if someone is like working out or whatever, 4 days a week and they're training 4 days a week, 3 days they're resting. I need to be fucking training 6 to 7 days a week. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's no break. Work now, rest later. Like it was my mentality.
Now's the time for you, man. While you're young, make that money. Make that money, get booked. Like you're getting booked. You're all over, man. Everything I see. I know you booked for the first time ever title match.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I noticed. I've scooted forward there, but like it's just cool. It's just cool to me because I saw you in MLW. That's when I first saw you in Injustice with Jordan Oliver and Koto Brazil. How did it come to fruition? Did Court Bauer get in touch with you to come to work for them at MLW Fusion?
No, I hit them up first. Like this was like 2018, and I knew that I was moving back home, and I wanted to be somewhere. I knew other companies were like you could get a contract there and stuff like that, but you would mostly be exclusive to them, so you wouldn't be able to travel and stuff like that as much on the indies. So like I wanted to work somewhere where I knew that I would be signed somewhere and I would be able to get that exposure and marketing behind me. Not only that, but also be able to still work on the indies like I was a regular independent wrestler. And that's what I love about MLW. Like the I felt like it's the marketing behind it's like pushing me to the freaking moon, and it's helped me become a better wrestler, better at promos, wanting to do promos. Because I remember when I started MLW, man, like the first day there, they had the promo. I was like about to piss myself, man. I was about to shit myself. I was nervous as all get out, man. And just being in there with the wrestlers, like At the time, is like I remember watching Low Key on NXT as Caval. Like I was like freaking like, bro, I was starstruck. I didn't know. Like I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And it just took time and getting more comfortable. And I hit them up in 2018 and I was like, look, I sent my resume. I was like, this is what I've done. I'm really looking forward to, like, I would really like to come work for you guys. And the rest was history, man. They hit me back. They were like, yeah, we know who you are. We're big fans of your work. But I hit up MSL. It wasn't Court. So the guy pretty much below MSL.
Right,
Court.
okay. I'm with you, man. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think, how did it come? Who came up with the creative process to put you in the faction Injustice? How did that come about?
It was a thing where Court knew that me, Jordan, and Kodo were, because when our first matches, my first match was against Kodo. Jordan's first match was against Kodo, and we both had bangers, like absolutely like show stealing type matches with Kodo. And he was just like, man, he was just like, I don't know what to do with these guys, but I want to do something with them. So, and I remember like not being on the show for like 2 shows, like it was like 2-3 months, and I was like, damn, dude, I don't know what they're gonna do with me, because I'd had that match with Jason Cade where I hit the cutter from ring to ring, and I was like, yo, after that, I'm in there, man. I'm in there. After that, like I remember not being on the show for like 2-3 months. I was like, fuck, did I do something wrong? And I come back and they're like, we want to turn you guys heel. We want to turn you guys heel. We want to put you guys in a group, blah, blah, blah. And we want you guys to run with it. Like, you guys are talented. You're being slept on. And we want you guys to really feel that shit. And like, literally, like, we felt that shit. Like, we felt like, you know what, we might be smaller guys. We might be overlooked because we're young and we're not like these huge names, but we're gonna eventually be huge names. We're gonna make huge names, and whatever we want, we're gonna fucking take it. And the rest was history, man. Like, he gave us the ball, he put us together. But like, for example, like I knew who Jordan, me and Jordan go way back, like backyard wrestling way back. So like when he put me with Jordan, I was like, oh, we got this. So from there, like, man, we was ready. Like, I remember still being nervous about promos and Kodo being like, look, let's just cut extra promos. Let's get with the camera people. Let's just cut extra promos. And we just start cutting extra promos, going the extra mile. And that's why I say, like, in wrestling, like, you got to go over and beyond. You got to do shit that people aren't doing. Like, if they don't put you in a promo, they don't have you written for a promo or whatever you may do, go out there and, man, cut one. Like, get the camera people like, yo, can I cut a promo? Like, can I cut one? Just anything. Just that people, they respect that. They see that you're putting in the work. And that got us, like, in the position that it got us. I feel like if we weren't taking the initiative to go further when we first were put together, then the group probably would have got as big as it got. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. I was a big fan of the chest protector as well. I like that.
Yeah, man.
That was Ala D'Lo Brown. As soon as I was like, hold on, this is D'Lo Brown. This is like, you know, obviously making it your own though, in the same token.
The thing is like, I knew a lot about D'Lo Brown, but I never knew about the chest protector. I guess the chest protector was just ahead of my time. It was just like further back from my time. Like, I'm 24. So like when he had that chest protector on, I was too young to really like, I wasn't even watching wrestling then. So once I went back and I was like, holy shit, like, it's kind of cool. Like this is where they're getting this inspired shit from. Like, this is dope. Like, so I was like, okay, now that I know that D'Lo's done this, I gotta like modify it to my own to my own liking and to the new era. Like, and that's just what I've done. And now I've got a new chest protector. So not, you know, I feel like this vest is much better than the last one. I felt the first one was just like a test trial. They threw it on me. They were like, let's see what happens. And then I was like, fuck that. I got this whatever catcher's vest, whatever it is, I'm going to run with it. So, you know, and I'm loving what's going on. And I feel like it sets me apart from people.
The match for me, I said to you, actually, I was watching it before just to jog my memory, but I watched it the week Fusion dropped. You and Teddy Hart for the middleweight title. And I know it was back in 2019, man. I know it was a while back, but how was that for you? How was that pitch for you? And how did you feel when they said you're going to win the MLW middleweight title? What ran through your mind, man?
Dude, he was just, I remember them telling me that, like, we want to do big things with you. And this was like, I don't remember, but they were like, we want to do big things with you. And I was like, okay, I'm ready for it. I'm ready to start stepping up, blah, 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 blah. And they put me in a title match against Teddy, and I'm just thinking like, okay, this is a big match. They're going to probably have me lose, but it's going to start officially like building my shit up. And I got there and they're like, you're going up. I'm like, what? Like, oh shit. Like, I was surprised. Like, you're going up. Okay. Holy fuck. So we get there, and I remember having the match and beating Teddy, in which, you know, I've wrestled Teddy before that, like a couple times, and I remember having matches with him, and, you know, we're going completely off of what the fuck we were supposed to be doing. Because that's just Teddy. Like, Teddy's just like, I'm gonna do the fuck I want to do. That's Teddy Hart. And you gotta love him though. But other than that, like, once we got in there, we did what we did, and I won the match, and I see the crowd's reaction, and they're like, what the fuck just happened? And so when I seen their reaction, it hyped me up even more. Like, motherfucker, you didn't know this shit was coming. Like, fuck yeah, I was so hyped. Because if you watch the video, you see me like, yeah, surprised, and then I seen everybody else like, what the fuck? And then I was like, let's fucking go! Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was it. That was one of my favorite moments of all fucking time, man. I'll never forget that moment. Never.
That was it. That was in New York, wasn't it? If memory serves.
No. This wasn't in New York. This was in Orlando.
Right. Okay. I'm getting my venues mixed up because I know obviously there was. Yeah. You'd run a set amount of shows at one venue, wouldn't you? I got mixed up, man.
Oh yeah, we definitely run a whole lot of shows at New York. Yeah. I had my first title defense in New York against Lindemann. New York's the one with the ramp that I would run across and
I get my. That's it, man. To go back to Teddy Hart. I'm just a fan at the end of the day. Never wrestled, never stepped foot in the ring. Wouldn't be good enough. I know that. 2 left feet. How good is Teddy Hart? Because you hear just how far ahead of the time times he was, but getting in there, just how good is he, Myron?
Hey man, when I first started being new into wrestling, like, you hear stories about Teddy and you're like, Teddy, if Teddy don't like you, he'll beat you up, like, type of thing. Like, so I'm like, you know what? I was preparing to go in there. Like, if he doesn't fucking like rock with me, then I'm going to have to fight him. Like, we're going to have to fight, like, because you hear about that in wrestling, you hear about guys and they're like, you know, if they don't like this young boy, then they're going to beat up on him. And I got lucky and Teddy actually likes me. So we had a great match and it was easy. You know, I knew what I was getting into stepping in there, and it is what it is. And Teddy's like one of the best, like, in-ring wrestlers I've ever seen. Like, he's like crazy good, but, you know, I guess he just does his own thing and people don't like that. People want him to do what they want him to do as far as like when he wrestles for these companies and he does his own fucking thing. And I'm thinking that's just like why, why it is what it is. But, you know, he's a great wrestler. I feel like he's awesome. And being in the ring with him was really a privilege because, you know, it helped me like learn how to switch shit up on the fly because we called some shit and we definitely didn't do that shit. Yeah, so it definitely helped me though. Like, I look back then, I was like, damn, why the fuck we change everything up? But, you know, looking back on it now, wrestlers do that shit to fucking test you. Like, you're gonna be a fucking champion. Like, we're gonna test you. Like, we're gonna switch this shit up on you, see how you fucking do. Like, you got to be ready for anything if you're gonna be a fucking champion. Like, and I respect that.
How about working with Pillman Jr. and Davey Boy Jr. as well? How are those guys for you?
I didn't really work with Davey, but I know for a fact that Pillman, when he had his, like, I wrestled him, I was like a year in, and this was at Rockstar, and I wrestled him like his first or second, not his first match, but I think it was like his second or third match. And goodness gracious, he came a long way. But I was new then too, so like I had no business being in there trying to like instruct someone that's brand new to wrestling because I was damn near new my fucking self. But like when we had the recent match, like, you know, it was what it was. Pillman is Pillman, and that's really honestly all I got to say about that one because I don't want to, like, you know, talk bad about nobody, but, you know, no. As a person, I love Pillman. I love Pillman as a person. As a person, we're cool. But as a wrestler, you know, he does his thing too. He does what he wants to do as well.
That's fine. That's how you. You've said you said enough. That's cool, man. Going back into now, obviously MLW's been back on telly, on the TV, on YouTube. We get it on YouTube over here now.
Oh, yeah.
It was on Free Sports, believe it or not, which was a bigger platform in the UK, I think. But anyway, how is it working? How is it working the program with Contra Unit? Because that's what's going on at the moment, and I love Jacob Fatu. What a talent!
Oh man, he's like incredible. Like he's in ring, he's incredible, but he's still a hoe. I feel like. But no, I feel like I remember like when I was watching wrestling, I felt like I was watching I remember being a huge fan of the Shield when I was watching WWE, and being a fan of the Wyatt family as well. And I always tell myself, I want to see these groups work against each other. I want to see this feud so fucking bad. They finally gave it to us, and it was probably the best feud I've ever liked. This is one of my favorite group feuds, like besides Roman Reigns and the Usos versus AJ Styles and like pretty much the New Bullet Club or whatever. Those are like some of my favorite feuds in wrestling, newer feuds. And I get those same vibes with this. Like I feel like I feel like there's some kid at home watching right now that love that shit and is watching our stuff just like they were like I was watching that. So like I feel like we got to deliver, and we got to be different though. We got to make this different, and we got to turn it up. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited to be a part of this and be an influence, man.
How is it? I assume they've put it to you that you're working face in that, or did the management not tell you to do that? Or they just said go with whatever you feel?
Well, what I like about it, man, like I said with the whole Shield and Wyatt family thing, neither one of them were babyface. You know what I mean? So that's what I like about this. We are not really babyface.
No. This that's why I like to ask you.
That I feel like we're right in between right now. Like we're at first, I mean, we were definitely heel, but like I feel like we're right in between. But like Contra's the biggest heel group in our company. So I just want it to be something that people can look back on and be like, yo, when I watched MLW, Contra Unit and Justice like really made me like love watching MLW.
I'm not just blowing smoke because I'm speaking to you. The whole I love MLW as a whole, Myron, because it's like 45 minutes, 50 minutes, but it's so fast paced, and the way it's produced, I can't sit for 3 hours and watch Raw. But
man,
it's hard. But with MLW, you get a lot crammed in a very short space of time, but it tells the story for everyone. That's how I perceive it.
And I feel like, you know, each week, like, not a knock on what WWE is doing, because I've always been a fan. I've always been a fan of their stuff, but like when you see these feuds every week, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you have to sit and like you see something happen, so example, someone gets attacked or something, you're like, what the fuck? I want to see what happens with this. But you maybe get a promo or something like involving the story the next week. It's just that build up that like gets you like more and more ready for it. Like, and like you said, like people's attention span now is like, like this got to be like quick. Like you got to have it quick. Like, and when you combine all that together, that's like the perfect formula. Like, okay, we're going to make these episodes quick. Like they're going to be an hour long to where people aren't like taking a whole 3 hours out of their day watching it, or 2 or whatever it may be. And we're going to put sprinkle a little bit of every storyline in there, so people are still invested, and when they finally get the payoff, it's that much bigger. You know what I mean? So I feel like definitely, like you're definitely right on that. I appreciate
not too dissimilar. I know they're not running it at the moment, but it will be coming back. And NWA Power with the old school studio vibe, like back when it was.
Oh man, I like you said, I like that vibe. I feel like I like MLW because they have that underground vibe, like that old school ECW type of vibe, like less hardcore, of course, but like that old school ECW type of vibe. And then NWA, of course, has that old school AWA or NWA vibe, and it's dope. Like I feel like wrestling, you got different sources of wrestling, and it's all different. It doesn't look the same, and it's not like you're turning the channel and you're watching the same fucking thing with different wrestlers. You know what I mean?
I like the fact as well. Going back to NWA, I just love the way they've packaged Nick Aldis as champion, taking on all comers. You know, it's the old school traditions of that belt and how Ric Flair went around the different territories and defended. And that's cool, man. That's cool.
Definitely.
Who in MLW who you haven't had the chance to work with would you like to work with? Who would you like to tear it up with?
Man, I feel like I'm always down for a challenge. Like I want to wrestle the people that people don't want to wrestle, that are scared to wrestle, because I feel like that makes me different. Like I said, like you want to be the best, you got to do the best type shit. And I want to wrestle low key, man. I want to wrestle low key.
He's been in the business for that many years, man, and his knowledge. That would be a ball.
It's only gonna help me out more. You know what I mean? Lose or win, I'll bring the fight to his ass, and it's gonna help me grow as a wrestler. Being in there with someone with his resume and his experience.
That's cool, man. I'll tell you what else I like with MLW. Tom Lawler. Obviously, I know Timothy Thatcher's now on NXT. I love that vibe. I love that MMA style as well.
Oh yeah. Tom Lawler's the man.
It was incredible. And you know, he had his run as champion, didn't he, as well? So it's just you get a good mix, don't you, of styles. That's the perfect thing for me as a fan.
Absolutely, I agree. Definitely agree.
Where else are you booked going forward, Myron? Have you got many bookings?
Last year, I remember towards the end of the year, like, especially when everything was starting to shut back down, bookings were like pretty scarce. But now this year, like I think I wrestled in January, like maybe 4 or 5 times, and that's a big step from once if I get lucky. You know what I mean, with the pandemic. So, you know, this coming February, I think I have about 5 or 6. So bookings are slowly picking back up for me. Like I'm on the road. I'm on the road 6 to 8, you know, nights a month, and I feel like that's the perfect balance. You know, I'm not who I was back then, and I don't feel like people was gonna pay what, you know what I mean. Back then, it was 16 to 20 bookings. You know, I'm little to nothing. It's easy to get a booking then, but you know, when you've done stuff in the wrestling, you know, you're more marketable. You're bigger draw. And you want more money now. Like, you know, it's going to be less bookings, but hey, it's less damage on your body, more time home with the family, more rest time, more time to study, get better. Just mentally is better. Like, so that's 6 to 8, maybe 10 on some months when I'm feeling crazy hungry. I feel like that's the perfect balance. And hopefully we can get back to that.
Have you felt safe at the venues with obviously the pandemic? How have you felt? Has it been set up? Has it been well organised in terms of safety for you and the other wrestlers and the spectators, the paying audience?
I feel like the companies are doing a great job. Every company I've been to has done a great job with, you know, the whole pandemic. You know, there's been some companies that, you know, need to probably get kicked in the ass, you know, but there's every company I've been a part of, they've done a great job with, you know, keeping everyone safe. And God forbid, but I've been very fortunate enough not to have COVID yet, and I've stayed away from it. And I just feel like the wrestlers, not only is it the promoter's job to keep everyone safe, it's the wrestlers' job as well. Like, you got to wear your fucking mask, you got to sanitize your hands. You know, you wrestle, you know, get home, get your ass in the shower, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, wash that shit off. Like, wash your hands. You know, keep your mask on. Like, it's just. Honestly, it's a group collective effort.
That's cool, man. Who do you like watching in other companies? Maybe guys also on the independent level that haven't been on, you know, haven't had the national, international exposure. So yeah, to start with, who do you like in the big promotions, the televised promotions? Which guys are really doing it for you and you like watching?
Man, I am such a fan of wrestling that, like, I just like people that separate themselves from everyone else. I don't really like watching people that, you know, you could watch them and you can turn on another channel and you can see someone that's kind of similar to them. I feel like I like people that are different, that are confident, that have that swagger about them, that, you know, that just screams, you know, superstar. Like I don't know. I like watching Bianca. She's dope.
Yeah.
I like Swerve Scott. He's dope. I like, you know, like I've been a big fan of Leo. I'm a big fan of Leo Rush, of course. You know, not only a big fan, you know, you gotta be fan. You gotta wrestle your idols sometimes, but definitely still a fan of his. Like, I remember watching him on Ring of Honor coming up, and I was like super inspired by him. And I just feel like on top of that, I think like I like Top Flight in AEW. I like the Young Bucks. I've always been a fucking huge fan of the Young Bucks. Kenny Omega, of course. I just like watching guys that like look different, not only like in today's age, like just from in any age completely, like just any age of wrestling completely, that they just separate themselves, that, you know, they are bigger, larger than life superstars eventually. Like, you know, when you have that swagger about yourself, like you definitely stand out. And, you know, honestly, that's I'm a big fan of wrestling in general. Like,
what about your bigger guys like your Drew McIntyres, Wardlow, Brian Cage? I'm thinking of what's his name as well. It's gone. The Murder Hawk, Lance Archer. Do you like those guys, or do you like the style?
I remember wrestling Brian Cage. I think I was like maybe a year in. I was fucking terrified, but, you know, I didn't have like I was. When I was actually there, like it was definitely like, I was like, okay, I can't let this fucking guy show. Like, no, I'm fucking scared of him. Like, I'm not fucking scared of you. But when I was like in the ring, I was like, oh fuck, sweating beads. But yeah, like I'm like Drew, like those guys. Like, I mean, I feel like everybody in wrestling that are on the bigger stages, like it's something about them to where that's the reason that they are signed and they're on these bigger stages. Like, they're all talented. But, you know, it's just, I feel like I like guys that like I said, just are different, and that show that, like, when I was like watching wrestling, I really liked Seth Rollins when I first started, when he was in NXT and stuff, because him swinging the title around, I was like, I got those Jeff Hardy vibes on. Like, I was like, and I was a huge Jeff Hardy fan as younger, so like Seth Rollins is like, I was huge on. I like guys that like separate themselves and that are doing shit outside of the box, that like for example, I don't know if you heard of Effie, but like he's fucking different. I like watching Effie. Like, I think he's dope. He's completely different. Like, you've never seen nobody come into wrestling that's pretty much like him. Like, he's made it cool to be like gay and different, like, in wrestling. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that, bro. Like, I feel like you got to be you. Like, and I love that about wrestling. I love that people are able to be themselves now. And definitely.
Because if you're not yourself, the fans.
Man, who are you trying to be? Like,
the fan. I can tell a mile off when someone. You can see it through the screen. Because I've watched it for that many years. But yeah, as you say, man, stay true to yourself, and absolutely. You said about Bianca Belair. Fantastic. She deserved that Rumble win, and hopefully now this will lead to the title. Which other women's wrestlers do you really like watching? Because they're the ladies are so good. They're incredible. Man,
I remember when I was backyarding and watching Candice LeRae, man, and PWG. Like, because I was really watching PWG, like, huge, like watching their show highlights that they would put up on YouTube, and trying to fucking do half the moves they were doing when I was on the trampoline. But, you know, it was. I feel like female wrestling definitely nowadays are like, they're definitely moving with the times, and they're a lot of these girls are getting better than the guys. Like, they're good now. Like, they're really good. Like, and I feel like I can watch all kinds of wrestling now.
That's cool, man. I'm a big I like Rhea Ripley. I'm a big fan of her. I think.
Oh yes, absolutely.
They've kind of the booking of her. She lost a few matches, and I was a bit like, I don't know about this. The girl has got it, but I'm sure it'll come around again. They just like
that's how it does. That's how it goes.
They're showcasing certain people a bit more than others, and then her time will come again, because she's just got it. She's herself, and she's got that metal rock vibe.
And that Jeff Hardy vibe, man. I'm telling you, dude. Like, she's like a female fucking Jeff Hardy.
It goes back. I can see this for you now. It goes back to Jeff Hardy with a lot of
man. It all stems from Hardy, man. It all and that's why I've been like with my whole gimmick, like changing shit up. Like I'm wearing like this red eye, like underneath, like eye paint underneath my eyes, and it's kind of to show like I don't give a fuck. Like it's like it's demon time. Like it's time to fucking go crazy and do shit. It, like, you know what I mean? I feel like it's definitely like it's that part of me is definitely like a tribute to Jeff Hardy. Like, you know, I feel like that's a part of me because when I was watching when I was younger, I love Jeff Hardy. Like I was trying to watch, I don't care what it was, whatever match was Jeff Hardy on, I'm watching that shit. Oh, Hardy's on tonight? Watching it. I'm watching it, you know? Like, Mom, record it. Like, I don't care if I'm missing it. Record it, please. I need to watch it.
That's cool, man. That's cool, man. What would be your tips for guys that are gonna want to start training, and then obviously what would be your tips, and then leading into the ring? What are your top tips for guys that are looking to do this as a career?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like you like when it comes to wrestling, like you can't be hesitant. You got to go after it, and what you got to be you. And if a motherfucker tells you that this ain't gonna work, that ain't gonna work. If you believe it, nine times out of 10, it's gonna work. If you continue and be consistent about what you want to do in wrestling, it's gonna work out. Like just you gotta be headstrong, like mentally strong, like, and you gotta know that, you know, shit might not be working right now, but it's gonna fucking work. I'm gonna make it work. Like, and training might not be going the best right now. I might not feel like I'm the best or gonna be the best one day, but you gotta believe it. You gotta be consistent. You gotta work after it. Like, you got to sacrifice and go and do shit that people aren't doing. Like, you see people around you, what they're doing, they're like, oh, I'm not fucking going to that show. I'm not getting paid, or I'm not fucking getting anything out of this. Fucking take your ass to that show and meet these promoters and do what you got to do, man. Like, it all comes full circle. This is your dream. This is what you want to do. Sometimes you got to do it for free, but you know what you're doing. Like, it's going to pay off in the long run. Like, for example, like, okay, what's $2,000 or something now compared to $1 million down the line that you make? You know what I mean? Like, it's you gotta be ready to sacrifice and be consistent with what you do and confident in what you do. Also humble and respectful at the same time. Yeah. But just know, like, hey, I'm gonna listen and say you're right, but I'm gonna do me. Absolutely, bro. Honestly, it's just, you know, you gotta want it. You gotta know that you're gonna have to sacrifice. Seeing family, seeing friends, you know, you're gonna have to do stuff that, you know, like, as far as like in the business, you're gonna have to work hard. You're gonna have to, people are gonna make fun of you or try and pull you down, but you gotta be mentally strong and know that, like, look, this is what I want to do. I know I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna manifest this shit. I'm gonna be great. I'm gonna make a lot of money in the business. I'm gonna be a superstar one day, and I'm gonna work until I get it. Like, and if you have that mentality, you're gonna be straight and you're ready to work and put down and grind. And I feel like you're great. You're good. You're golden.
Myron, am I right in thinking you were part of the Rascals at some point?
When it first got put together.
Yeah, man. I was like, hold on a minute. I was doing some research. It's like he was in the Rascals.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. Like 3 years ago, when they first got, like, yeah, I was definitely a part of it. But we all went our separate ways.
Yeah,
so
man. It's cool. It's cool to see that you're all like, you've broke off and you work in different places. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Absolutely. We're all proud of it, and we all still talk like almost like every day. Like, those are my brothers. That's
a lot of talent right there going forward, I tell you. Absolutely, man. Myron, where can the viewers and listeners find you on social media?
Hey, man, the Young Goat. So you want to find the Young Goat on social media, you got to check me out on Twitter, The Bad Reed, Backyard Wrestling name. I have to keep the Twitter handle. But Instagram, it's Reed's World. And of course, Facebook, Myron Reed, YouTube, Myron Reed. Check me out on all of those, man. I'm dropping content all the time as far as YouTube goes. And I'm on Twitter. When you see me on Twitter, I'm probably promoting stuff because, you know, I try to stay off social media as much as I can because, you know, it can definitely be toxic sometimes, but I try to like, you know, promote and interact with the fans as much as I possibly can. So, you know, catch me on all those, follow me on all those, and make sure to stay tuned because we got more coming.
Absolutely. Sure. I'm looking forward to it, man, to see see where you're going to turn up next. Hopefully you're going to turn up in the UK once it's all back up and running.
Man, I've been trying to do that, man. I'm definitely trying to get on that, man. For sure.
There is plenty of places to come and work, man. And
trust me, I know a lot of people out that way, so I'm definitely trying to get on out there.
And there's no, I'm not just being like, because it's my country. Like, there's no crowd like the UK crowd. It's something to behold. It's something to behold. My guest, all the way from Louisville, Kentucky today, the former MLW middleweight champion. You'll be champion again. Mark my words. You'll be getting,
First time.
You'll be getting that gold back. Member of Injustice. You'll find Myron in so many promotions across America as well. He is everywhere, literally everywhere, this man. So thank you very much for coming on Stu's Wrestling Podcast today, man.
Man, thank you for having me. It's been a blast.
This episode is brought to you in association with Powered 4 TV. So go and check them out for anything wrestling related, old events, new events when we come out of COVID, podcasts, you name it, it's all there at Powered 4 TV. So find them across social media.